Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Emily from Emily Cromwell Designs and I design colorful and happy bookish merch for readers, and welcome to day 1 of Vlogmas! All throughout December I am going to be participating in my very own Vlogmas for you guys. I did it last year, had so much fun with it. I'm gonna try to see if I can do better than last year and do even more videos. So I originally was gonna do a 12 days of Vlogmas and just film like 12 days of videos for you guys. However, I started to feel a little bit, well, I should say a lot of it motivated, and I got this urge and I'm like, let's go for 24 days. Let's go. So I'm gonna try to do my very best to get you guys 24 days of Vlogmas videos. So before we get into today's video, a few quick things. One, I just wanted to say that for my Vlogmas videos, because the holiday season is my biggest time of the year, like busiest time of the year in my business, I can't realistically like film every day in December, edit it that night, and then post the next day. I would just get so burnt out so quickly. So I'm actually going to be pre-filming a lot of these videos. So I hope you can still enjoy them, but that's really the only realistic way that I can do 12 days of Vlogmas. A lot of the videos will still be filmed like in December, probably the videos that are going to be more so like the later part of Vlogmas, but for the beginning part, a lot of those I am trying to pre-film so I can have time to edit all the videos for you guys. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I know you guys are used to my videos usually being like 50 minutes to over an hour long. Some Vlogmas videos will be long like that, but not every video will be, because it's just the nature of Vlogmas is that you gotta kind of do like quick videos, and I don't think anybody really wants to sit and watch an hour plus video of me every single day for 24 days in a row. So some of them are gonna be a bit shorter than what you're used to. But I hope you're still able to enjoy them. So today's video, I'm not going to be wearing this the whole time, but I wanted to wear it as we got into day 1 of Vlogmas because it is officially the holiday season. So today's video is going to be a Q&A, which I have been meaning to film this for months now. I have so many questions piled up in an album on my phone that you guys have asked throughout the past few months, that I've gotten asked on Instagram, that when I did a call for questions for a Q&A a couple months ago, you guys submitted. So I'm going to be answering all those questions, as many as I possibly can, in this video. I thought that'd be a really fun way to just kick off Vlogmas and start the month. So you're going to be seeing me looking at my phone a lot because that's where the questions are. I'm not ignoring you guys. I would never do that. So we're just gonna jump right on into it, and I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you find it helpful, and thank you in advance to everybody that asked a question, and let's get going. Alright, let me get my hair situated here. Here we go. Okay, so before I do the first question, I did want to just do a quick little intro for anyone that may be new to my channel, or if this is your first time seeing a video, or if you just recently found my channel. So I have been a small business owner for the past 13 years. I started my business when I was 17, going into my senior year of high school. I ran it part-time over the years while I was in college, while I was working daytime jobs, and I worked on my business at nighttime to build it. I eventually built it to the point where it's at now. I think it was probably, I reached full-time status back in 2018, and I have been working for myself full-time since 2018. And I designed stationery, bookmarks, the kind of like apparel, just fun merch for readers. So, little quick blurb about who I am in case you stumble on this video and you're like, who is this chick? So, hello, hi, I'm Emily. Alright, let's do the first question, shall we? Okay, hi Emily, I recently came across your channel and love your videos. Your creativity and passion for using your talent to bring joy to others is so inspiring. I have a couple of questions for you. First question is, where do you look for inspiration when coming up with new designs? You know, I get asked that a lot, and I really never know how to answer it, because it's like, I get hit with inspiration at like the most random of times. For example, like the other night, I saw the Northern Lights outside of my house, and instantly got this big urge of inspiration to do a Northern Lights collection, which I'm still working on, by the way. And that's actually, if you saw my Christmas collection that went up about a month ago, you probably saw a Northern Lights bookmark in there with like a Christmas tree farm. Originally that Christmas tree farm bookmark was just a Christmas tree farm and a night sky. I wasn't thinking of doing the Northern Lights, but I got so inspired, I was like, I want to put the Northern Lights in there. So I really get inspired a lot by my surroundings, but also, this is going to sound insane, my best ideas come to me in that state between being awake and almost being asleep. That sounds insane, I know, but like when I'm laying down at night and like my body's like shut down, I'm about to sleep, but I'm not quite there yet, that's when my brain, like the creative side, just does like the best work. And usually I always like am waking up to like write down. So I have an ongoing note section in my phone where I'm just writing down all sorts of ideas for product ideas and design ideas for things that I want to do. All right, next question is, which of your products, designs, or launches are you the most proud of? That's hard. I think some of the launches that I'd have to say I'm most proud of are like my fall and Halloween launches, because I really feel like, since that's my favorite season, I feel like that's when I do like my best work. And those of you here are probably familiar with my little ghosty character, Boonard. I just have so much fun like creating new scenes and this little magical world for him to exist in, and I feel like that's just like when I do my best work. Last one is, what is one thing you would like others to know about being a small business owner? I guess an important thing I'd probably like others to know, especially for people that are looking at it from the outside thinking like, oh, that looks like fun, I want to do it. You've probably heard this before, and I'm going to say it because it's very true. Usually when you are looking from the outside in with wanting to start a small business, you're thinking like, oh, I'll get to be my own business owner, set my own hours, don't have to work as much. I will say that you work so much more than 40 hours a week. Like a typical 9-to-5 job, you work 10 times that. Like, you are almost always working because you are the business owner. So you're always answering emails, thinking of new product ideas, having to be packing orders on the weekends if you're behind, ordering things, dealing with manufacturing emails, you are always working. So just wanted to say that because that is a fact that I don't think you always realize before you start a small business. All right, I would love to hear more about how you got started, your journey as an entrepreneur from when you started to now. I'm an entrepreneur and I love hearing other people's stories. So yeah, I kind of touched on it at the beginning of this video, but I have always been an artist ever since I was little. My favorite toy to play with was a cash register, and I would make up little businesses that I would run as a kid, and it was my favorite thing. And when I was a senior in high school, I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be an artist full-time. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait anymore. I want to make this a reality. I want to start my business. So I went to the town hall. I got my business license a week before I started my senior year of high school. And I spent my free periods during high school reading business books. I was going to the library on the weekend to learn about business taxes, how to run a business. I was watching online courses. I was doing all sorts of stuff. I started my business when I started it, I think it was Creations by Emily C. I was making jewelry, I was drawing artwork, I was making dog treats. Yes, I was making dog treats. I don't even own a dog, okay? Go figure. And I was starting to do like craft shows. And I just want to highlight on this too, because a lot of people, let me get more situated, hold on. I've had a lot of people kind of sometimes see my videos and be almost like sad, being like, oh, I wish I got orders like that. I don't know how you do it. I wish my business was like yours. I just started. When I started, I didn't get orders. Like, there were many times I almost quit because I was not getting sales. Like, when I would do craft shows, I was lucky to get 1 or 2 sales in that one craft show over like a 6-hour period. I really didn't make any sales. I barely sold online. Really, the only people that bought my stuff was my family. And I had to work really, really hard to build a presence for myself and find my niche, because I kind of didn't know what I was doing. I knew I loved to create. I knew I wanted a business, but I hadn't found what that was yet. When 2019 came around, I very fortunately stumbled into the magical world of Bookstagram on Instagram. And that was when I just had a light bulb moment. And I've always been a reader ever since I was little. love, love, love to read books. And I was like, I'm gonna combine my love for reading with my passion for creating happy artwork. And it has just completely blossomed from there into something so huge that I never thought my business would ever achieve. Like, I never thought I would be at this point of 1,000 orders or sold out launches or so many subscribers and followers on social media. I never thought that would happen to me. Some businesses are, like, they seemingly are an overnight success. I have never been that person. I had to work my tush off to get to where I am over a span of 13 years. And dealing with probably 3 years in a row of my accountant at the time telling me you should probably get rid of your business license and just consider it a hobby because you're not earning any money over years. Like, I was not earning a profit for years, and I was just putting all the money I made back into it, and I was not making anything. But I kept doing it because I had such a strong belief. I'm like, okay, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I had such a strong feeling. I'm like, I'm going to get there one day. I just have to push through this hard time. And I'm so grateful I pushed through, because here we are. I am in a small business studio that I paid for 100% myself out of pocket with my own money that I earned from running my business full time. And I'm earning a full-time living. I get to do what I love every day, and it is the best thing in the world. All right, next question is, what do you use for your computer and software to create on? So I draw in the app called Procreate on my iPad Pro, and I use an Apple Pencil to do all my artwork. I draw every single thing that you see in my shop myself, so that's where I draw it all. And I actually have two computers. I have a work computer, which is a Windows laptop, a Dell one down here in the studio that I use for printing out like art prints, magnetic bookmarks, fulfilling orders. And then I actually have a MacBook Pro that I use for like all my design stuff. So that's where I store all my design files. That's where I edit all my YouTube videos on. That's where I store all the magnetic bookmark stuff. Like, so I have a work office one, and then I have a design one, just so I can kind of like keep those two things separate. Do you adjust contrast to get the vibrant tones? No, I don't. I just draw in those colors. I never have to like adjust contrast on anything. I just draw in those bright colors. Where do you go for printing, or do you print out yourself at home? So I work with a lot of different manufacturers for different products, like probably 10 to 20 different manufacturers, depending on which product I'm doing. The only thing I still make at home are my magnetic bookmarks. I do print those myself, but everything else I get outsourced for me. All right, next question is, you've mentioned that you sell on Shopify, Etsy, and Faire. The inventory that you have in stock, how do you keep track of inventory with being on multiple sites? That's a good question. Do you only put a certain amount on each site to keep from overselling something? So yeah, that's a very good question. So I actually, believe it or not, I used to manually track all my inventory. I'm talking when I would sell something on one site, I would go and lower the inventory on Etsy, on Faire. Don't do that. Please learn from me. Do not do that. You will make yourself miserable. So I actually, this is not sponsored, but I've used this brand for many, many years. I use a company called Trunk to keep track of my inventory between Etsy and Shopify. So the way it organizes it is you put SKU numbers on the back end of the site. No one else sees it. Like, customers don't see it. But like for a notepad, it could be like NP0022 or something, whatever SKU number you have. You have Trunk synced up to your Shopify site and also to your Etsy site, and anytime you sell something on one site, it will automatically take away that one inventory count on the other site that it didn't sell on to sync it up. Sometimes I've noticed that there have been a few inventory discrepancies. I know I counted things correctly, but something oversells by like one product, and I'm always thinking that like it's something where it's like a launch time where things are selling quickly and maybe the inventory tracker software didn't catch it in time. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it happens. For the most part, it helps so much. For Fair, Shopify actually has a sales channel area where you can sync your Fair wholesale account with your Shopify store. And that's kind of like the same thing as Trunk, where you can go in on the back end of your Shopify store and there's a section where you can link your products to Fair. And that one, you can do it by SKU number, or you can also just do it by the product name. And I just do it that way to kind of sync things up. But the only thing I've run into there, if someone places an order on Fair, it doesn't take away that product count on Shopify. I still have to manually do that, but it keeps the available inventory count on Fair up to date with what's on Shopify, if that makes sense. So you still have to do a little bit of manual work with that. All right, did you go to art school or were you self-taught? I did go to college for art. I didn't specifically go to an art school. I almost did, but then I didn't want to have to live on campus because it was in Boston. I'm a big homebody. I wanted to commute. So I picked a school that was closer to home so I could commute there. So I went to a 4-year college and I majored in studio art, and I had a concentration in illustration artwork. So I had life drawing courses where you had to draw the human body, to study like sculpture, the form of the human body and all that stuff. I did an animation class, I did a comics drawing class, I did children's book drawing class, I did graphic design typography, I did graphic design layout for like prints, newspapers, magazine layouts, I did oil painting, I did regular painting, I did regular drawing, like intro to drawing, I did like 3 or 4 art history courses. Yeah, I got a full art school education. However, they did not teach you how to do digital artwork like what I do now for my business. That I was self-taught in. And they also didn't teach you how to run a business. So I ultimately really ended up having to learn how to do a lot of, well, pretty much all I do in a day for my job on my own. And really, the process of learning drawing digital artwork on Procreate, I watched a few YouTube videos, but they didn't really help me because I'm much more of the type of person that I learn by actually doing it, and not watching it doesn't really help. So I just like bought brushes and I just played around with things, and in the beginning I was awful. Like, I was not good at all. But I practiced more and more and more, and even now when I look at my artwork today compared to a year ago, I can see that I'm getting like better and better and better each year. Because it's so true, because the more you do something, the better you get at it. Even if you think like, oh, I've peaked, I've gotten so good at it. I'm not tooting my own horn, but just saying there's always so much more to learn. And I'm still learning as I go. So yeah, anyways, that's how I learned Procreate, was really just forcing myself to draw all the time and learn the ins and outs of it. All right, next question is, how do you handle the stress and daily upkeep of your business? I'm gonna be honest, some days not well at all. It can be a struggle, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with mental health issues. Even aside from that, running a business is hard, okay? And when you're doing it all by yourself, like, you're the artist, you're having to come up with all this artwork, you're packing all the orders, you're dealing with manufacturing issues that arrive, you're dealing with shipping delays, you are dealing with sometimes not so nice customers, and you're having to do it all with a smile on your face. And then get up and do it all again the next day. Because if you don't do it, it won't get done. Unless you have tons of employees, but most of us small business owners, we don't have that. And then when you add in mental health problems, it makes it really hard. I have severe anxiety. I have OCD. My OCD gets worse with stress. So I've been actually working with a specialized OCD life coach to help me manage the OCD when my stress gets really bad. Because I get into flares and it makes running a business that much harder. I have depression issues, I have panic disorder, I have agoraphobia, which is basically a fear of leaving your house over having a hard time, being scared of having like a panic attack and not feeling safe anywhere else. So when you add all that onto running a small business on your own, it can get very hard. And like being fully honest, some days I don't manage it well. It seems like that on the outside, but some days I struggle, and it's okay. Like, you are only human. It is totally, this is me giving you permission. It is okay to have bad days. If you need a mental health day and you cannot physically bring yourself to get up and pack orders, that's fine. People will survive that one day. I know some people will probably say they can't, but you are not Amazon. You are not a multi-employee business. You are one person dealing with this crazy thing called life, doing the best you can. And that's all you can do some days. Some days you're going to do great. Some days you're going to do not so great. So a tip that I have is on the days where your mental health is great and you feel like you're on top of the world, get a lot done that day. Like, take advantage of that and just cross off so much on your to-do list and just try to get as many things possible done as you can. Because then when it comes for the days where your mental health isn't good, and it always comes when you least expect it, then you can give yourself that grace of having a few hours or even a full day of not doing something because you have already gotten so much done on the days where you did feel good. Now, if you have multiple days in a row where you're having a hard time, I have that a lot, see if you can have any family members help out, if you have any friends help out, or if worse comes to worse, just be honest. Like, post on social media and say, I'm having a hard time right now. Things are going to be late. If you want to cancel an order, let me know. I can do that. But for those of you that are understanding, thank you, and I will pack it on this day. I'm a big believer in you can only do what you can do, and sometimes whatever you can do is the best you can do. And so just don't be hard on yourself because you're already doing hard work. Alrighty, we are moving right along. Next question is, do you have a Patreon podcast, or would you ever open up a bi-weekly or monthly podcast for members? Ooh, I don't, but I like this idea. Funny that you mentioned that. My mom and I, we were recently watching that new show on Netflix called Nobody Wants This. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it. It is so good anyways. But the two sisters on there have a podcast, and I was like, Mom, we should start a podcast. But of course we were like, I don't know what to talk about. That would be really fun. I do love to talk, and I love to talk business and just like hang out with you guys. So that could be fun. Like, what would you guys want me to talk about? I'm not even familiar. Like, I know what Patreon is, but I'm not familiar with what like a Patreon podcast is. What all goes into that? I'd have to do my research. Is it a video? Is it just a voice recording? Yeah, so I'm not opposed to it. I'm always looking for starting new things, and I'm very adventurous with expanding. So if that is something somebody would be interested in, let me know. Let me know what you would want me to talk about, and yeah, I can look into that. All right, next one is, would you offer a paid workshop for budding entrepreneurs and artists just starting out in a small business? I am glad that you asked this. I was going to start something similar to that this year in 2024. Between wedding planning and being so busy, I did not get to it. I actually have the listing set up on the back end of my site ready to go. I just have not clicked publish on that yet. I just haven't had the time to devote to it yet. But that is one of the biggest things on my to-do list going into the next year, 2025. Wild to even say that, is I am going to be starting, it's not a workshop, but it's going to be a small business video, kind of like coaching style of setup, where I'm still working out the logistics, but it's going to be, you submit about like, you can submit up to like 10 business questions for me that you want answered, and I'm going to record a video like this. And I'm doing this as opposed to like a live back and forth like Zoom call, so that you have this recorded to go back to, and you can watch it like time and time again and take notes, whatever you want to do, get a refresher. And I'm going to record a video answering all your questions, and that's how I'm going to set it up. So that is my goal for this coming year. I'm still working on it. I'm hoping to have that up by early spring, if not sooner. 2025 is the year I'm also getting married, so I'm gonna have to work some things out because I want to give myself time a couple weeks before the wedding and a couple weeks after the wedding to not really work as much and give myself time off. So I'm trying to figure that out because obviously when I put that listing up, I need to have like a processing time of like a few weeks to be able to like put the video together, plan out what I want to say and all that. But anyways, yes, something like that is in the works. All right, were you ever afraid of failure? Oh gosh, yes. And how did you overcome it? Yes. I'm still afraid of failure, if I'm being honest. I am constantly afraid that my business will suddenly fail, that people will wake up one day and be like, oh, Emily who? I don't like her artwork. She is so yesterday. Like, I'm constantly afraid of failure because you build up this business, you work so hard over the years, and you get to a point where it's all you're doing and it's your full-time job, and you're like, what happens if this goes away? And that is a terrifying thought. Sometimes it literally keeps me up at night because I'm terrified. And when I have that fear, I really just have to lean into the unknown and say, I'm just willing to trust that things are going to work out the way they're meant to be. And all I can control is myself. And that just means me doing the best artwork I possibly can, putting my best self out there for you guys on social media, making orders as happy as possible. And the most you can do is just control yourself and what you put out there. I know that's not like the best tip, but it's really kind of what has worked for me. All right, next question is, my question is about the amount of products that you have for a launch. Thinking about adding some digital products. How do you go about calculating stock and the money to put up front to order everything? Are you worried sometimes that you don't get back what you invested? So that, unfortunately, is one of the sides of running a business that you can't avoid. Like, you will overbuy products at one point or another. It will happen. I've done it so many times. It is unavoidable. And you will also underbuy and sell out very, very quickly, and you could have sold more, but you underbought. There's no surefire way to do a mathematical calculation to figure out how many is the magic number to buy. The way I do it now is, as my business has grown, is I look at my last launch, I see, okay, I bought this many notepads, how many did I sell? And if I sold out, I know, okay, I need to buy way more than I did. If I still have a couple left, I'm like, okay, I can buy the same amount. Or if I have way too many left, I'm like, okay, I need to buy less than what I bought. So that's really how I gauge it. I compare it to my last launch. Half of running a business is reinvesting a good chunk of the money that you make from launches back into your business. Put some in your savings. Yes, put some in your checkings. Also, you want to reinvest a good chunk of it too, so that you can keep growing and expanding on your product line. But don't do it to the point that you're making yourself broke, or you're not getting any type of return investment or making any type of product, because that's not the goal of the business. In the beginning of running a business, you're not going to make a huge profit, or really, if any. Like I said earlier, it took me a couple years to start making a profit. I was either not making anything and in the negative, or I was just breaking even. So it will take time, but it is possible. All right, next one is, what advice would you give someone opening an online shop today with a tiny audience? My best tip would be, even though it feels like you're talking to nobody on social media, keep posting. Like, keep being your authentic self, because really what has worked the best for me is when I first started posting on social media, like eons ago, I was like, new product up, new product, new product, new product. Are you getting my drift here? And it wasn't personable. It was just very like car salesman-y, like, here's a new thing, here's a new thing. Have you checked out the new thing? And people weren't getting to know me. And I'm a big believer that, yes, you want your products to be great, you want the artwork to look great, you want to have a quality product, but you also you're not just selling your product, you're selling your brand, and you are your brand. Because it's like, picture like if you're watching my YouTube videos and I just completely cut out my personality, right? And I just come on here, I'm like, hi guys, here's a new envelope I just designed. It's now in the shop. You can go get it. $5.99 compared to, ready? Hi guys! Okay, I hope you guys are doing amazing. Just finished watching Gilmore Girls last night for the umpteenth time, eating a big bowl of Cheerios because Cheerios are my favorite. And today I just wanted to share something that recently came in, which is a brand new envelope, $5.99. But, you know, it is brand new. I'm so excited about it, and it is now in my shop for anybody that wants to do it. And I give a backstory about the envelope. Wow, I just got like so into character there, talking about an envelope. But do you see the difference? That is what I want you to do on social media, whether you're posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is. And you don't even have to do videos to put your personality into your brand. You can do that just in the caption that you write for an Instagram photo. Like, it doesn't have to be cookie cutter, like new product just listed and 500 hashtags. It can like infuse your personality into what you're writing. What are your favorite emojis? What are some of your favorite phrases to say? Like, just fully be yourself, because people gravitate towards real, authentic people. Like, I can't tell you how much of a shift it was when I stopped thinking I had to be salesy all the time and like pushing products and switched over to just being my weird, silly, goofy self. Like, my business just boomed since then. So my biggest tip is be yourself. Keep posting, because it will feel like you are shouting into a room of no one there. You will grow. It just takes time. All right, next question is, how do shipping costs compare when ordering from Alibaba and US-based companies? It really depends on who you're ordering from. So if I order from a manufacturer closer to me, the shipping would be cheaper for a same product shipping compared to a product shipping from California, because I'm on the East Coast. Sometimes US-based companies can be expensive. Like, usually Alibaba companies usually is in the hundreds. You have to remember that's coming all the way from across the ocean, and it's a long way to travel. Shipping is going to be a lot more expensive, but also the price per product is going to be a lot less. However, there are a lot of great US companies with still reasonable price per product and reasonable shipping costs that you can then, again, get manufactured and sell those items in your shop. So it differs, but sometimes I've even seen US-based companies have the same shipping costs as Alibaba. Is it worth it to open TikTok shop to sell stationery? Let's see. I don't recommend TikTok shop from my personal experience, but I'm not going to tell you not to open it, because there are some people that do phenomenal on there. They're selling out all the time, making a ton of sales, so you could have so much success over there. So I encourage you to still look into it to see if it's something you'd want to do. I personally joined the program, stopped doing it for a while after not liking a few things, rejoined it, and completely quit the program again, and I'm not going to be rejoining it. I am just not a fan of a couple things. Like, when you send your products out with them, they don't want you to have any like promotional materials for your own business. Like, you can't have your business website on anything, or something like pointing back to your own website, which is kind of odd to me because it's my product. And also, the turnaround processing time you have to have on there is crazy. It's like 2 or 3 business days or something, and I'm like, it's not doable. I don't like their return policy, because I had someone on there bought tons of stuff from me, and then all of a sudden they, after saying, oh, I loved everything I got, like a couple weeks later, just randomly said to TikTok, I want to return everything because I changed my mind about it. And TikTok automatically refunded them for the whole order without them having to return anything. Eventually TikTok did refund me because I never got the items sent back to me. They were good about that, and that TikTok refunded me, so I got my money back, so I didn't lose anything. But I don't like how they run returns and automatically refunding people without you getting your product back. That feels very sketchy to me, and I don't like that. Again, I made sales over there, but I never had the success on there that other people I saw did. Not everyone is going to have the same success on one platform as someone else does. It's I don't know, it's almost like a luck of the draw, because I tried for a long time and I never took off on there. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel a big disconnect with TikTok. Not even TikTok Shop, but just TikTok. It's definitely not my platform. I don't have joy posting on there, really. I love Instagram and YouTube, but I've never felt connected on TikTok, to be honest. But it is up to you. It's not, it wouldn't hurt to try it if you want to. And do you make sales on Etsy? Is Etsy dying? I do still make sales on Etsy. I make a couple sales every day on Etsy, but I will be honest, it is nothing like the amount of sales I used to make on Etsy. Granted, I don't know if that's because I only promote my main website on Shopify. I don't promote my Etsy shop anymore. I don't know where the disconnect is. I still get sales on there, but not nearly as much as I used to many years ago. Okay, do you need to apply for a reseller's permit to sell on Fair? You mentioned something about a sales tax permit. Is that the same as reseller's permit? No, so a reseller's permit and sales tax is totally two different things. Like, for instance, me on Fair, I don't need a reseller permit because I'm selling my products. The retailers that are buying my products to resell, they're the ones that need a reseller permit. They're the ones that are reselling. So they have to show to Fair that, yes, I'm a reseller and I'm going to be reselling this. You don't need a reseller's permit. You do, however, need a sales tax permit. Sales tax you charge on your retail side. So like you would charge sales tax like your retail side, like at craft shows on your website, because you are selling directly to the consumer. At that point, you're not selling to a storefront owner who then charges sales tax. So you do need a sales tax permit, but you don't need a reseller's permit because you're not reselling anything. You're just listing your products for a reseller to buy. So I hope that makes sense. Right, how do you determine pricing for your items, and how do you account for misprints, packing materials, etc.? Pricing is a whole other beast, okay? I don't have a perfect answer to say how I determine pricing because I honestly wing it. When I first started pricing online, originally I tried to do like figuring out how many hours I put in, and that I could just never logistically figure that out. So what I do is I take note of how much I have to spend on each product. So say I buy 100 notepads, you take the cost of the notepad plus the cost of shipping for all those notepads and divide that cost by 100, and at that point you have your cost per notepad, because you have to include the shipping that you had to pay to get the notepad to you, and then you have to figure out what your profit margin you want to be. I'm not always good at like, oh, I want 50%, 30%, whatever profit margin. I also look at the industry, and that's another good way to do it, is see what other people in your business, in your industry are pricing it, and then look at your numbers to see where around that would work for you, where you feel like, okay, I make enough of a profit from this, it's worth it. So that's kind of how I recommend to do it. It's not totally helpful, but that's how I do it. Side note, how do you stay active with your Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? I was recently diagnosed and struggling. Everything I try to do walking seems to result in injury. I feel you, and yeah, I can sympathize. I'm not the best at always getting my exercise in. I will be honest, a lot of my exercise actually comes from running my business because, as you probably see from my YouTube videos, I am always running around the studio. Like, I am always bending up and down, lifting things, running around, so I get a lot of activity in. Mostly I go for walks. However, I can't usually go for long. 30 minutes is like my max, because my hips just start hurting so bad and my knee joints are on fire, and I have to stop because I get in so much pain. I don't recommend a treadmill. My doctor, I always remember my doctor telling me that when I was in high school. He's like, whatever you do, don't do a treadmill because it is so hard on the joints of someone with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And he also said don't do running, because like running on a hard pavement, you just picture your knee joints hitting the pavement. Running is not good for EDS. Like you said in your comment, a pool is great. I don't have a pool. But what I am going to be doing once our addition is built is I'm going to be buying a stationary bike, because I've heard from my doctor that that's a lot easier on the joints of someone with EDS because you're sitting and you're not standing, putting that hard, like, weighted pressure on your knee joints and your hips. I'm sure it's still gonna hurt at some point because it's just comes with the name of the game with EDS, is you kind of hurt just existing. But I'm gonna be getting, I'm not getting a recumbent bike where you're like sitting back, but I'm gonna be getting an upright bike, and I'm gonna be doing indoor cycling to kind of get things still moving. I had tried like YouTube aerobic videos, like aerobics. If you can do it, that's great, but a lot of times I found aerobics videos are actually more harmful for EDS because they're not geared towards people with EDS. Because anytime, there's this one girl on YouTube that does aerobics videos, anytime I've ever done it, I always injure my sternum. My costro issues flare up, so even just touching it right here, it's just really painful. It flares up so much, and it's so painful, like doing like the movements that you have to do with the aerobics. It hurts my sternum so bad and like my ribs, and I can't do it. So I recommend cycling if you could look into getting a bike. But yeah, a pool is great because it's so easy on your joints. All right, next question. Will you ever think about providing how to use and draw with Procreate videos, the basics to start exploring without drawing skills? I think someone else asked that same question for this Q&A video, and I do get that asked a lot. So if that is something you guys would like, if you would like me to do like step-by-step videos, how to draw like simple things in Procreate, let me know. I would be more than happy to do it. I know I usually do a vlog every week, so I know that wouldn't really be vloggy. So maybe if I do that, that could be like, I don't know, maybe like an extra video once a month or something in addition to my weekly vlogs. I tried to do a video, this was like well over a year ago, where it was just draw with me for a week and it was step-by-step drawing. It was my worst performing video to date, so I've been scared to do just another solely drawing video since then because it really did not perform well, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that again. But if that is something that enough of you are interested in, I would be more than happy to do it. Let me know what kinds of stuff you'd want to learn, because like I know I do pretty detailed artwork, so I don't want to like stress anybody out. So let me know like what you'd want to draw, or like what you want to learn about it, and I would be happy to do videos like that. Alright, does Chris watch your YouTube? And if so, what does he think? No, he doesn't, because he sees me every day, so he gets enough of me. But no, he's not really a YouTube person, and I'm usually editing my YouTube videos while I'm sitting next to him anyways, so he sees them all anyways already, so no, he doesn't watch me. But we do have a running joke, because anytime when I'm editing my video and I pause it, it's like a running joke between us that we like try to pause it to see like what, if we can find me making a funny facial expression, and every time he just has like a collection of photos of me with the most ridiculous, embarrassing faces of like mid-talking or whatever, and he just loves to make fun of me for this. Okay, do you source through Alibaba? If so, how do you ensure you found a good vendor? I get a few things from Alibaba. Let's see, what do I get on there? I get my washi tape, my planner sticker sheets, and the acrylic bookshelf decor pieces. Not the Book Lovers Lane ones, but like the little two-piece sets. My tip for making sure you find a good manufacturer is when you are on Alibaba, where you can search for like a product or a vendor. I don't remember exactly where it is. I think it's on the left-hand side. There should be a section where you can click trade assurance, and then also, oh, what is the other thing? I think it's verified supplier or verified seller, something like that. When you click those, it only shows you manufacturers that are, one, a verified supplier on Alibaba, meaning they have the certificate to show that, yes, we're a real business, we uphold our standards, we ship things on time. And trade assurance means that that company is covered by trade assurance on Alibaba, so if they don't ship it within their processing time and, I don't know, fall off the face of the earth or whatever, you will get that order covered. Like Alibaba will fix that. So those are kind of my 2 tips for finding people on Alibaba. Are there times you are not motivated to create or keep going, and how do you overcome that in case you do feel unmotivated? Oh my gosh, all the time. Yes, are you joking? I feel like that's common though with anything in life. Every couple of months I will come up on a phase where I'm just so unmotivated. I literally don't want to do anything. I don't want to be working. I don't want to draw. To me, that's a sign of, okay, I've reached burnout. How can I help myself feel better and take care of me? Because if you're burnt out, you're going to be unmotivated because you have no more energy in your energy bank. You put it all into your business and you have to keep energy for yourself. So when you're feeling unmotivated in your business, what I like to do is go back to basics and I practice self-care. I take myself out on walks. I go out in nature. I go get my favorite takeout. I find little things that bring me joy. I watch my favorite comfort show, Gilmore Girls. I binge watch Million Dollar Listing, Real Housewives. I read a good book. I go to the bookstore. Because once you fill up your energy cup and you boost your serotonin, you're going to feel happy. And when you feel happy, you feel more motivated to do things. Because if you're depressed, if you're stressed, if you're burnt out, you're just not going to feel motivated. Obviously, too, when you're running your business, you can't just quit cold turkey and be like, well, I'm just not going to pack orders. So still pack your orders, but if you can, try to do it in a way that you're doing a certain number of days that won't totally stress you out. Take some extra hours in a day to work towards filling your cup back up with bringing yourself joy and happiness and energy, and slowly you're going to feel more motivated and you're going to fall back in love with what you do. Okay, next one. Oh, we have a lot. Okay. How is wedding prep going? Also, who is being added to your family from Chris's side? Okay, wedding prep is going great. Thank you for asking. At the time of filming this, we are 8 months out from the wedding. When this goes up, I think we're going to be 6 months out. We are getting married in June of 2025. Wedding prep is great. All our vendors are booked. I am actually, when this video goes up, I'm going to be getting ready next month in January to go and get my hair and makeup trial done for the big day. I'm so excited. I'll give you a little preview. I am going to be doing a low bun hairstyle for my wedding day. So it's going to be obviously much prettier than this, but it's going to be a really like intricate design with like, I don't know if it'll be like folded over here and just like really pretty, like low bun. And then I'm going to have like my wispies coming down in a pretty way. And then I'm going to have a sparkly thing at the top of my hair, and then the veil is going to be right above the bun and flow down. And I'm not a big makeup person. I'm going to do like a natural but like light smoky eye type of vibe, but like not a severe one, like a light, fresh, happy one. And yeah, wedding planning is going great. We are going to be sending out invites soon, and yeah, it's going great. Things are moving right along. As far as people being added to my family from Chris's side, getting a mother-in-law, I am getting a father-in-law, I am getting 2 sister-in-laws and a brother-in-law. So that's going to be exciting because technically I'm an only child. I do have step siblings, but I am an only child. I don't have any like blood-related siblings, so I am going to be getting 3 new siblings-in-laws? In-law siblings? However you want to word it, I'm getting 3 of them. House edition update. Actually, yes. So when I'm filming this, the big excavator was actually just dropped off an hour ago, and they're going to be digging. So when this video goes up, it's already going to be well underway. We are told that they're most likely going to be finishing sometime in January or possibly February. So when that is done, let me know if anybody wants kind of like a house tour of the addition, because it's going to be a new kitchen, laundry area, bathroom. I'm gonna have my own library. I'm so excited. We are keeping our bedroom and our living room as is, and the addition is being connected to that on the second floor. And then we're gonna have our own porch. We're gonna have our own basement. The basement will be unfinished. So I know some of you have asked, like, is my studio gonna be expanding over to it? It won't be connected. I have to like walk outside to be able to get to it. Yeah, so this is still going to be my work area. All right, I see you use Silhouette to cut your stickers and bookmarks. I was wondering if you have always Silhouette or if you switched from another brand. Curious if you wouldn't mind sharing the pros and cons of the Silhouette from your own experience. So I have always used the Silhouette cutting machines. I've never used a Cricut machine, so I don't have any experience with that to like touch on that at all, but I have always used Silhouette cutting machines when it was like the first one. I think I have like a Silhouette 4 now, but I had like one of the very first ones like ages ago, and I love it. Like, yeah, I mean, with any technology machine you're gonna have issues, but like 99.9% of the time it always works great for me. Don't really have any issues. The only times where I really have issues is like when I swap out to a new sticky mat where it's like really sticky. Sometimes when I'm cutting magnetic bookmarks, as it gets like farther down the page, sometimes the cut line is a bit off because I feel like the stickiness like drags the roller, so it doesn't cut as perfect, but it really resolves itself after like the first 3 times. But I love the Silhouette cutting machines. I could not recommend them more. I love them so much. You are so natural and positive on camera. How do you do that? I've been trying to start vlogging. Don't have like a great tip for it, except just be yourself. I know it can be totally scary and fearful to put yourself out there. I get that so much. Really for me, I think it's just when I do this, I picture that I'm talking to a best friend, which is what you guys are to me. I mean, hello, besties. And just be yourself. Like, people are going to judge you no matter how you are. If you're totally strict, if you're totally professional, if you're silly as heck, weird, like whatever, whoever you are, people are gonna judge you, because that's unfortunately just what happens on the internet. I mean, it's not as easy as just saying like, oh, try to develop a thick skin, because I mean, it hurts when people are rude about you, and it's hard to be 100% vulnerable, just let your walls down and be like, hey, this is me, and just put yourself out there. But that's really my best advice, is just try as much as possible just to not care what other people think, and just be your true, authentic self, and just be yourself. Okay, I love watching your order packing videos. I'm always curious, how do you decide which orders get a box or a bag? So there is a science to that. I know a lot of people in my comments are usually confused about that. Someone buys a book sleeve by itself, that's going to go in a poly mailer because it's flexible, it's bendable. If someone buys 5 bookmarks, that's going to go in an envelope by itself. It's flat, it can be mailed that way. If someone buys 5 bookmarks and a washi tape roll, that has to go in a box, because you think when that's in a mail truck and it has hundreds and hundreds of pounds of packages stacked on that, that is warping the package where the bookmarks are going to bend, and the washi tape is going to make an indent in the bookmarks and bend them and possibly damage them. So anytime something has something that could get damaged, like an acrylic keychain or an ornament, I put that in a box. So like, even if it's just 1 bookmark and 1 ornament, yes, that's flat, but if you put it in a mailer, it's just, there's a chance it could arrive perfect, but there's also a chance it will get cracked and you have to send out a new one. So I don't like to take any chances anymore after having issues in the past. So yeah, there's a system to it. Oh, I love this question. Okay, what are you most looking forward to on your wedding day? So this goes without even saying, marrying Chris. He is my best friend, and he is the love of my life. He is my soulmate. He is the one person that I can just be the goofiest, out of this world goofball with, and he matches my energy tenfold. Like, he is just my best friend, and I'm just so excited to marry him and just do life with him. And I'm also gonna say I'm excited to dance. Like, I love dancing. So I'm just excited for 4 hours straight of just going wild and making the dance floor like a nightclub and just jamming out dancing. Is there anything you haven't created yet that's on your list to create? Yes, actually. I talked about this, oh, it's like a year ago, actually. Crazy how time flies. I have been wanting to make a kind of like coffee table book of all of my artwork from over the years. I haven't figured out yet if I want to put like writing in it and like write about the artwork, or I don't know, my journey over the years as an artist, or if I just wanted artwork to look at. But I've always wanted to make a coffee table book where it's just literally all of my artwork. It's gonna be a huge book, but like that's always been a dream of mine to make. Oh, I love this question too. What is the story of you getting Toby? Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, I'm gonna give you the full story instead of just the quick and cute story. I got Toby at one of the lowest points in my life, full transparency. Why did the lights just flash? Okay, hopefully we're good. This painting, where is it? Here, why can't I move my finger that way? What am I doing? Right there. That is a painting of my cat Misty, which was my soulmate cat. She passed away January 3rd, 2021, and I had her for 16 and a half years. Losing her absolutely shattered me. Like, I loved that cat more than I loved most people. Like, she was my everything. I had her from when she was 8 weeks old and I was 10 till when I was, till when I was 26 and she was 16. Oh my gosh, losing that cat was the worst day of my life. For the longest time, I didn't know if I could get another cat because I was shattered. Like, I mean, I still cry to this day over it because she was my everything. And when a couple months after losing her, my mental health just got really, really bad because she was also like my unspoken therapy cat. If I was having a panic attack, she would hear me from wherever she was in the house, and she would literally come running and get on my lap and start purring, and because she would just help me feel better. If she heard me crying, she would come running and nuzzle her face against my face like, oh gosh, I'm gonna get teary talking about it. I mean, this is Vlogmas. No crying on Vlogmas day 1. But she was the best cat. But my mental health got really, really bad. And I had actually experienced kind of like a near choking episode that winter. Like, she passed January 3rd, and it was like beginning of December. It was water, of all things. My OCD, at the time, I will get fixated on things and think that I can't do certain things in order to prevent something happening again. My OCD had latched onto that and convinced myself that, oh, you can't swallow food because you're gonna choke. And I got in a really, really, really bad state, and I lost a lot of weight. I was struggling to eat anything. Like, instantaneously developed like this huge fear of swallowing, eating everything. I almost had to go into eating like mental health program to get help for it. It was very, very bad. All while running my business, and I never told anyone about this till now. It got really, really bad. I had asked, and my mom brought up one day, she's like, do you want to just go to a shelter just to like hang out with cats just to see if it'll make you feel better? Because she knew that cats always made me feel better, and I was really struggling with not having a cat and my mental health. Which sounds crazy, but if you're a cat owner, you know just how much those fluffy little things just make you feel so much better about life. And we looked up this one shelter. It was out in Western Mass, and there was this kitty, and his name was Thor at the time. And I remember we were sitting in the parking lot of the mall near us. Mom was getting ready to go in a store, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and I was looking at his picture, and I was like, I really want to meet him. He was this beautiful, beautiful brown fluffy cat, and he was 3 years old at the time. He had this cute little overbite, and I was like, but I don't like the name Thor. I was like, he looks like a Toby to me. I was like, if I got him, I'd name him Toby. And she's like, okay, well, we're just going there to look at the cats, right? We're not going to get one. I was like, no, we're not going to get one. So we get there. This guy is sitting out there, Thor at the time, on the in the sunroom, looking at the door. He's the first cat I see when I get there. And we walk in and he just started instantly like rubbing up between our legs, like purring, like putting his, because he's part Maine Coon, so he's a big fluff ball, and like his tail was all fluffed up, just being the biggest love. And I just remember sitting on the floor of this shelter a couple days away from Christmas at the lowest point in my mental health. I'm not kidding when I say this. I was like 98 pounds. That's how low my weight got. I was very, very not doing well. And I just cried sitting there on the floor. And I had not felt that much joy in so long, because it had been almost a year since I touched another cat. And just feeling, I get teary just thinking about it, just feeling his fur. I looked up at my mom. I was like, I need him. Like, I need this cat. It's not a want. I need him. And we brought him home that day, and we have had him ever since. And he is 6 years old now. He is the best thing that has happened to me since getting Misty. He truly, truly helps my mental health so much. I'm back to a good weight after getting him. He helped me work through my issues, as crazy as that sounds. And yeah, so he truly saved my life. All right, can you share tips of managing a chronic illness while working a full-time job? Yeah, so that is hard. I'm not gonna lie. I still struggle with that to this day. My biggest tip would be take time to rest whenever you need it. Feed yourself. Do not overwork yourself to the point that you are in immense pain or like true exhaustion, because you need to take care of you too, because if you don't take care of you, you're not going to get anything done. Try to exercise if you can. And something that I do, which some people don't like, is give yourself grace and give yourself a longer processing time. I still have people to this day, they don't like my processing time, but I always ship within it. And if I'm ever late, I'm always upfront and honest about that with people and say, yeah, this is going to be late. This is why. 99.9% of the time, I'm always within it. So my processing time is usually 5 to 10 business days. I usually get some people, they don't like the 10 business day part, but you literally, it all comes down to the fact that you can only do what you can do as a single person with a chronic illness. And some people will be unhappy with you and not like that it takes you longer to ship things, and they just may not be your people, and that's fine, because like, I mean, you can't please everybody, and that's fine. But the people that do get it and are willing to wait for your stuff are your people. So don't be afraid to give yourself a longer processing time. I used to, when I first started on Etsy, I think I put like a 1 to 3 day processing time, and then I changed it to 3 to 5, and even that I was struggling. And eventually I learned, I'm like, there's no point in making myself exhausted and burnt out every day, because like, you need to take care of yourself too. So that's my biggest tip, is just make sure to take care of yourself. All right, we are almost to the end. So when packing shipments, do you remember longtime customers' names? I do, actually. So yeah, when I'm packing orders, all the time, I'll see an order. I'll be like, oh, that's Kelly, or oh, it's Susan, or Christy, or Emily. Like, I'm always seeing and recognizing longtime customers' names. So yes, I do recognize those, and I appreciate you guys so much. Okay, the favorite book that you have read this year. Well, I know that easy. Hands down, it would be The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. That, oh my gosh, I read that, and like within the first few pages of starting it, I was like, this is gonna be up there on my favorites. Like, you know when you just start a book and you get that feeling? I had that feeling, and it's like, it had Hades, like a Hades retelling. Anything that has Hades in it, I'm like, love it. It was top. tier. If it could become a movie or a TV show, I would love that. It was so good. Favorite book of the year. Right, the last question is another bookish question. I was wondering if you have any favorite books, series, or authors, and are there any genres you specifically read from, and do you prefer audiobooks, physical, or digital? Okay, hold on, let me turn my heater on. Hold on. We're almost to the end of the video, but I am freezing. Okay. Oh, my hair is so fluffy. Favorite books and series. One of my all-time favorite series is A Court of Thorns and Roses. My favorite book of that series is the second one, A Court of Mist and Fury. Nothing tops that. I also love the Belladonna series. I love... So funny, like I love so many books and series, but I can never remember off the top of my head. I love Lucia Franco, author. Love her books. I love Megan Brandy, like Boys of Brayshaw High. I love the Fallen Crest series. The Did I Mention I Love You series. Why am I blanking? I know there's so many others. I'm trying to picture in my brain. What else have I been reading? Let me pull up Goodreads. Hold on. My brain is not braining today. I love a lot of, as far as genre goes, romance is all I read. If a book does not have romance as the main plot of the book, I won't read it. I need romance. But I specifically love enemies to lovers romance. I do not like sweet insta-love romance books. I can't do those. I love enemies to lovers with like tension and angst. And I also love fantasy. Fantasy is like one of my all-time favorite things. Oh, okay. Another series I read this year that I loved, was the Ironside Academy series by Jane Washington. That was up there this year for me. That was phenomenal series. I have to start the next book, but that one is really, really good. Okay, and lastly, do you prefer audiobooks, physical, or digital? Can I say all three? I haven't read digital ebooks in a while, to be honest, but I always listen to an audiobook while I'm working, and then I'm always reading a physical book too, so I have like two different books going on at the same time, an audiobook and a physical. So usually the physical books I read at nighttime before bed, and then also like I would just bring it everywhere. Like I'm like Rory Gilmore. I bring a book with me everywhere I go. So like if I'm waiting in the car for takeout, I'm reading my book. If I'm going to a doctor's appointment, I'm reading in the waiting room. Like I'm always reading. But yeah, so I can't believe that's all the questions. I feel like I've been flying through them. So I hope I answered all of your questions the way that you guys were looking for. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments and I am happy to answer. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this first day of Vlogmas. I have been having so much fun filming this. I am so excited to be doing Vlogmas again. I just, hold on, let me get this on because it is a Vlogmas after all. Yeah, like I said, I'm so happy to be doing Vlogmas again. I am going to try my very, very best to do the whole 24 days of Vlogmas. It may be a couple videos less, but I'm going to be working really hard to try to do as many as possible. And I hope you enjoy them. We're going to be spending the holiday season together. And I hope you guys are having a great start to your holiday season. I cannot believe it's December. So that is going to be it for me with this video. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 2 of Vlogmas. And thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope you are reading some even more amazing books. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!